Beautiful Wednesday morning. Good morning. This is 5th day of November 2025. My name is Victor Law. This is Good Morning Kenya on your beautiful channel, KBC Channel 1. Welcome to the program. My name is Victor Law. So let's talk about what's happening in the country. There is now a total deadlock. It's now up to the government to resolve the lecturers' government pay impasse that is actually in the 60th day today, ever since the strike began. So it's exactly 2 months. The Education Committee, together with the university leadership, met yesterday during the Education Committee, and there was a complete deadlock. The government was proposing 50-50 ratio, but the union is proposing 80-20. Let's talk about that. Who is facing the hardest hurdle here, and who is going to blink fast? That is going to be coming up. I have got Wilson Sotion. He's changed to veteran unionist. We know him as a veteran unionist and educator. I have got Honorable Francis Mwangangi. He's a deputy governor of Machakos, as well as Tom Odege, MP Nyatike. He's also a trade unionist for a very long time. So let's talk about that at exactly 7. And yes, Vivian, good morning, and what do you have for us today?
Good morning, Victor, and a very good morning to each and every one of you who is tuned in on the show this beautiful Wednesday morning. On what I have lined up for you this morning. Today being a Wednesday, we talk matters women, and the segment is Women at the Forefront. We bring to you women who are doing exemplary well in their fields, and today will be no different, as I will be joined by one Faith Mora, who's the business manager, Stanbic Foundation, and our topic of conversation will be about breaking barriers and making a difference. That is what we will be looking at specifically, and also just trying to see how to lead through integrity, excellence, and at the same time ensuring that you are making an impact as a leader. That is what I will be having later on at around 9 a.m. So you definitely want to stay tuned for that conversation. Before we hand you over to Naiserian.
Napayan.
Naiserian is going
Napayan works for me. Nasirian, Napayan.
Okay, Nasirian also works for me. Nasirian. Okay. Yes.
Or Naisula.
Naisula.
I'll go with Nasirian.
Nasirian.
Yes.
Okay, let's just go with Regina Manyara.
Yeah.
Well, that's my adopted name. Thank you, guys. And today marks day 1 of the Ma Cultural Festival. And a fun fact is that Amboseli is actually means plains, and in Ma it is pronounced at Empusel, right? And this is where this year's Ma Cultural Festival is going to be happening. This has been happening across rotationally across 4 counties, that is including Samburu, Narok, Kajiado, and now this time it's in Kajiado. It's been rotational because, you know, as well as Narok, I mentioned, yeah, it's in because the Ma community is largely spread within these particular counties, and it's just one way to ensure that we continue, you know, safeguarding our culture and tradition. Remember, when people hear about Kenya, they think when you say culture, Kenya, Maasai, the Ma community, or rather the Ma traditions come to mind. So this is just not only for culture and tourism, but also for peace building within the community. KBC Channel 1 is the media partner. So from tomorrow, we're going to be bringing you live pictures from Kimana there, where the festival is going to be taking place. The president is expected towards the end of the week, and he will be handing over the running of the Amboseli Park to the community. That is a highlight of this year's Ma Cultural and Tourism Festival 2025. And as such, we are dressed the part. We are practicing. Now, we will be bringing you up to speed with stories that have been making headlines, and I want to draw your attention to some of the trending issues currently right now. Is that there's a lot of focus on the direction that the courts are going to take in regard to a matter that is in court, and this is about the Cybersecurity Amendment Bill that, you know, is set to kick off tomorrow. If you are on your socials, I'm sure X, there's already cybersecurity is trending there. Get on, and also get to just look at, it has already been made public, you know, the amendments to the Computer Misuse and Cyber Security Misuse Act, or rather the Cyber Security Act. You can have a look at it and weigh in this conversation. Now we start off with matters education, where as of yesterday evening, reports indicate that Egerton University gave its students at least just 24 hours to vacate the premise indefinitely. We'll be keeping tabs on that to find out exactly what is happening on ground, but as it stands is at Egerton University. Yesterday, the administration issued an indefinite closure of the learning institution and gave students as well as the workforce there a cool 24 hours to vacate the premise. We'll be keeping tabs on that. And we start off on that particular note. There is yet to be a breakthrough on the ongoing lecturer strike after the Ministry of Education and the University Academic Staff Union failed to reach an amicable agreement on how the 7.2 billion shillings demanded by the Dons will be paid. In a meeting brokered by the National Assembly Education Committee, which was attended by Treasury Cabinet Secretary John Badi, his education counterpart Julius Migos, and officials from the university unions, the parties failed to agree on the modalities of how the money will be spread into phases, with the striking Dons insisting it can only bend backwards to accommodate 80% in the first truncated payment. Here's a recap.
After close to 2 months of hard stances, negotiations and renegotiations, the lecturers' 50-day strike finally landed before the National Assembly Committee on Education. The meeting only having one agenda: to unlock the stalemate that has seen students in public universities out of the lecture halls for close to 2 months. The payment framework of 7.9 billion arrears owed by lecturers in the 2017-2022 collective bargaining agreement. Already, government had offered to pay them in 2 phases, but lecturers' union maintained a one-off payment phase, saying the payment was long overdue.
There are members who have retired since 2017-2021. They are at home. They need their pension. 2, if we push this 50% to 2026-2027 financial year, already there are commitments, and the Ministry of Education is going to be constrained.
Treasury Cabinet Secretary John Badi during the meeting was forced to raise the amount in their 2-pay phased offer from 2.16 billion to 3.85 billion shillings, promising to complete the remaining amount in the 2026-2027 financial year.
We are just pleading with the unions to understand that our fiscal space is limited.
It is on the basis of the supplementary, which is this coming month, and you are here. Everybody knows that this team, the unions and the professors, they're the ones who teach economics and commerce. It's not possible for me to agree here and say immediately I go outside, once they sign, I give them the money. There's that process.
What the CS is afraid of is a paycheck tomorrow. And that's what you are saying. Yes. Which actually is not feasible, as we discussed now. It's not possible.
So when is the CS suggesting?
Order,
the CS is suggesting
order. You're out of order. So the CS is in agreement, but the issue is it is supposed to be in a supplementary budget. And we are all in agreement on that. So you go back and do the return to work formula, and those are the issues you will capture it. It's SG, yes.
But Universities Union, led by Universities Academic Staff Union Secretary General Constantine Wasonga, expressed fear that the government may be overwhelmed with the already outstanding arrears and that their position on the one-off payment still remains.
The worst of the worst, Chair, is 80-20. They give us 80% and 20% to remain. 80% will be 5 billion. My irreducible minimum for the sake of you and the honorable committee members and the students of this country.
The committee, however, put the 2 CSs to commit on honoring the promises in a move to end the impasse.
And the CS has committed himself. National Treasury has committed themselves. Up to when? I think we can say if you can do it by December, that's December salary would be good. But
the payment framework remaining thorny.
The 2025 KCSE examination.
So the question is, at whose expense? Definitely the students, as well as their guardians and parents, have to wait a little bit longer until that particular impasse is actually solved. Still on matters education is as the Kenya Certificate of Secondary School Education examinations continue. A family in Kopio village in Homa Bay County is mourning following the death of their kin. Police Constable Crispin Ouma Dia was shot dead while guarding the KCSE KJSEA national examination papers in Turkana County. Meanwhile, examination supervisors have been urged to ensure no unauthorized person or materials are allowed in examination centers to protect the integrity of the national examinations.
The 2025 KCSE examinations continued on Tuesday, with the candidates sitting for the mathematics paper that started at 8 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. From 2 p.m. to 4:30 p.m., the candidates sat for the English paper that tackles comprehension, literary appreciation and grammar. However, as the exams continue, the family of Police Constable Crispin Ouma Dia has been thrown into mourning. The officer from Homa Bay County was reportedly ambushed by unknown assailants who opened fire and made away with his firearm as he was guarding the exams in Turkana County. The family is appealing to the government for assistance as the deceased was the sole breadwinner.
Mwisho tuliongea saa 3 usiku na yeye Sunday. Amekaa like 7 years kazini.
Alikuwa anafundisha hao watoto wa brother wake. Kwa sahii hao watoto wamebaki. Sasa sijui nitaanza na wapi na nitamaliza na wapi. Sasa naomba tu serikali watusaidie mtoto wetu apate haki.
Na huyu semeji yangu ndio alikuwa ananifundishia mtoto, ameacha mtoto kwa form 2. Sijui vile nimesimama hapa nitaanza kwa wapi. Wa serikali munisaidie nipate vile nitafundisha hawa watoto na vile nitakula. Juu bwanangu alisakufa, aliniacha na watoto wadogo kwa nyumbani.
In Kakamega County, examination invigilators were urged to be alert and ensure that no unauthorized persons or materials make it to the examination rooms.
Whatever frisking you do, some people still sneak them in somehow, and that is not right to do. The second thing is to watch out for non-authorized personnel within the compound. When we see them, naturally, we are always suspicious about what they are doing in those schools. The third thing, of course, is to watch against collusion. And I normally tell the center managers and supervisors, you may not be aware what the children have planned in advance.
In Kisii County, Kisii Central Deputy County Commissioner Joseph Mwangi urged the center managers to remain vigilant and ensure the exam's integrity is maintained throughout the exam period.
We want to retain very high level of integrity for this exam. We don't want to get closed. We don't want them switching off CCTV. We'll be monitoring. Myself and my director here, we will be going round and we will be checking what is happening. We are really discouraging any fishy thing to happen.
We wish all the candidates who are writing the exams all the very best at a time when we are receiving reports of exam malpractice. We'll keep tabs on that. Now, on to matters climate. The Kenya National Public Health Institute is warning of a possible upsurge in malaria, dengue fever and cholera cases owing to erratic weather patterns and rising temperatures. Now, this comes as Kenya says it will leverage on the new community of practice for climate and health alongside 8 African countries to strengthen early warning systems, surveillance and resilience against climate-driven health threats. Warm temperatures and unpredictable rainfall are expanding the range and season of disease-carrying vectors such as mosquitoes, while flash floods have become breeding grounds for waterborne diseases.
It's reported that approximately 70% of human diseases are now zoonotic in nature. We are anticipating an increase in vector-borne diseases and also waterborne diseases. Drought has threatened our food security and our economic security.
Health experts warn that gaps in surveillance could delay detection and escalate outbreaks.
You can see cholera, which is at the top, malaria, flood, and drought. So these are purely, as you can see, either climate-induced or climate-sensitive conditions.
Currently, outbreak reporting takes up to 48 hours.
As health
personnel, we can make significant progress without incorporating meteorological data to our early warning system. It helps us to be more predictive and more proactive.
To mitigate further losses, the Kenya National Public Health Institute, in collaboration with the Kenya Meteorological Department, is pushing for integration of climate indicators such as rainfall, temperature, and vegetation cover into national disease surveillance systems.
And it is time we leverage on the available resources for climate change, for research, to adopt innovative interventions in prevention, and also to establish strong, resilient systems.
Further, Kenya is leveraging the Health Emergency Preparedness, Response and Resilience Program that includes the Democratic Republic of Congo, Ethiopia, Burundi, Rwanda, Malawi, Sao Tome and Principe, Zambia and Mozambique to enhance technical capacity.
So it is time we leverage on available resources to establish resilient systems that will be ready in case of any shock, even if it's a financial or an economic shock to the health sector.
The establishment of the Community of Practice for Climate and Health is touted as a game changer in applying early warning systems and data-driven decision-making to address the health threats posed by climate change.
Indeed, on a similar note is that Kenya has scaled up its ability to prevent, detect and effectively respond to the spread of zoonotic diseases among animals and persons. This follows the launch of two key guidelines, namely the Rift Valley Fever Contingency Plan and the Human Brucellosis Testing Guidelines. The new guidelines are expected to enhance coordination across sectors and protect both lives as well as livelihoods.
1-0. At a joint event bringing together experts from health, livestock and environmental sectors, the Ministry of Health officially launched the Rift Valley Fever Contingency Plan and Human Brucellosis Testing Guidelines tools described as critical in Kenya's fight against the spread of zoonotic diseases.
When livestock suffer, households suffer. The contingency plan that we launched today is designed to change that story.
The development of these documents were made possible in partnership with the International Livestock Research Institute, ILRI, that helped to develop the scientific basis.
That symbiosis allowed the government to provide us as the researchers with guidance on the right questions that we needed to ask and the right focus that we needed to take.
Experts also raised concerns on use of low-quality diagnostic tests leading to incorrect treatment and unnecessary healthcare spending, estimated at over 65 million shillings annually.
And we'd like to heed this example where we write a 5-year contingency plan, which allows us to be ready in case of any emergency. We prepare adequately, we're able to resource mobilize and put in systems in advance.
Rift Valley fever, transmitted by mosquitoes, affects both animals and humans and can be fatal. During the 2006-2007 outbreak, the country lost more than 155 lives, 50,000 livestock, and over 2 billion shillings in economic damage. Brucellosis remains a silent burden, with over 100,000 cases reported annually. Brucellosis has affected many households, but treatment remains out of reach for most.
Sasa ningeomba serikali wajali sisi. Watuwekee mashini za kupima na madawa. Ndiposa tusaidike. Unaweza tumwa ninunue dawa sina pesa.
The new National Brucellosis Prevention and Control Strategy seeks to enhance integrated surveillance under the One Health approach.
Now that takes us to matters business, where the 8th edition of the Changamka Kenya Shopping Festival officially kicked off yesterday at the Kenyatta International Convention Center, bringing together over 300 exhibitors. Now, speaking during the opening ceremony, Principal Secretary for Industry, Dr. Juma Mkhwana, emphasized Kenya's key role in driving Africa's industrial growth and urged manufacturers to take advantage of the new export opportunities following the one-year extension of the African Growth and Opportunity Act, AGOA.
Kenya's manufacturing sector remains a key pillar of the country's economic transformation agenda, contributing about 7.8% to GDP and employing over 300,000 people directly. The government aims to raise this contribution to 15% by 2027 through increased value addition, industrial diversification and export growth. Now in its 8th edition, the Changamka Kenya Shopping Festival serves as a platform to showcase the growth, creativity and potential of local industries.
Changamka itself means festivity and celebration. We are here to celebrate the resilience, the pomp and the glory, the challenges, and all the good which Made in Kenya does.
We've seen the number of exhibitors also increase, but it's not about just direct sales. It's also about creating partnerships and business linkages towards different products.
The one-year extension of the African Growth and Opportunity Act, which provides duty-free access for over 6,000 products to the U.S. market, offers an opportunity for local manufacturers to expand and attract foreign investment into value-added manufacturing.
Today there is a clear stampede of people that want to relocate their manufacturing from China, from India to here, because if you're manufacturing in China and you're facing a 34% tariff into the US, and if you manufacture in Kenya, in fact it was 10% with AGOA, now it has gone back to 0. So where would you manufacture? So in fact, inadvertently, I think what the President of the US has given us is an opportunity for Africa to actually venture into manufacturing.
Organized by the Kenya Association of Manufacturers and the Ministry of Investments, Trade and Industry, the festival is part of the Buy Kenya, Build Kenya campaign to promote local products.
Now, underwriters in the agriculture sector want the government to subsidize insurance products under the agriculture portfolio. The African Reinsurance Corporation Agriculture Manager Isaac Magina says tax incentives on agriculture insurance products will increase insurance penetration as well as reducing the country's food import bill.
A blend of Kenyan and German artistry came alive at Koitalel Samurai University in Nandi County.
Insurance, according to the Association of Kenya Insurance, is at 2.29%. The numbers are much lower as farmers grapple with high insurance premiums. Underwriters want the government to subsidize agriculture insurance products to make it accessible to small-scale farmers.
Agriculture insurance is one of the areas that needs to be subsidized by government because it really lends into protecting the agriculture sector and thus contributing to the food security situation, stabilizing the overall economic outlook of a country.
The African Reinsurance Corporation Agriculture Manager Isaac Magina says the subsidized premiums will further de-risk agriculture, shielding farmers from losses and increasing agriculture investments.
We have to explore ways to make insurance a bit cheaper, and this is when the aspect of insurance premium subsidy, agricultural insurance subsidy, becomes a hot topic.
Sometimes farmers do not have that income, regular income, that would enable them to pay insurance. That's why government sometimes comes with a subsidy.
The underwriters want farmers to purchase insurance premiums in groups to enjoy the economies of scales.
You can get farmers in a kind of like a cooperative or association. I believe they can find a way of spreading that premium and making it affordable.
Benson.
Now, as we bring in the headlines to a close, we'll not, sideline Arsenal's extending its standing on the EPL table there with the last game that was played against, I think, Crystal Palace 1-0. This puts Arsenal way ahead of the rest of the teams there. Arsenal is first on the EPL table. Man City coming in at second. Third is Liverpool, Sunderland fourth, and Bournemouth at fifth. Further details are available on our website there, that is www.kbc.co.ke, in regard to what is making headlines in as far as sports is concerned. Now, about our diary, what is in store for us is that today we're going to be joined, or rather we're going to be looking at what is going to be happening at the Kenyatta National Hospital, where my colleague Marie Yambu will be keeping tabs on a function there where the First Lady, that is Mama Rachel Ruto, as well as the Princess of the Kingdom of Morocco, Her Royal Highness Leila Asma, will be there to just launch an exercise there that will see 50 children at least undergo surgery. That is restorative surgery for their hearing under the Coachella Implant Project. This is going to be happening this morning, and Marie Yambu is on ground for that. Also developing is that today marks day one of the Ma Cultural Festival that is going to be running all the way from the 4th to the 9th of this particular month. This is a festival that is rotational across 4 counties, and this time this festival is going to be held in Kajiado, and KBC Channel 1 is the media partner for that. So other than tourism, we'll be having a focus on, how can the community continue to coexist with the wildlife, given that the president is expected towards the tail end of this particular festival to hand over the runnings of Amboseli National Park to the community. That is following a public participation on the exercise that sailed through. Keenly to watch in as far as matters of economics concerned is that the new guidelines, betting guidelines, indicate that under the new rules, the regulator has been given the mandate to set aside a percentage of an individual's winnings towards SHIF and pension payments. If you do not have the information, well, our website is very much open to your scrutiny. I'm Regina Manyara. I want to hand you over to my colleague, Victor Olo, who is going to be unpacking the state of affairs in regard to learning at the universities following that particular deadlock. Over to you, Victor.